The face you think is guilt may be fear. Most owners do not misread their dogs because they do not care. They misread them because one small expression looks so human. A lowered head, a tucked tail, ears pressed back, eyes looking away. And in that moment, it probably felt obvious. You thought, he knows. But that is the human version of the story. In our world, when someone does something wrong, we expect guilt. We expect shame. We expect that person to lower their eyes because they understand the mistake. So when a dog gives us that same looking body language, we place our own meaning onto it. But dogs do not live inside our moral system. They live inside a world of body language, timing, safety, patterns, and immediate consequences. Those lowered ears and soft body movements are often not signs of moral guilt. They are
the science behind the guilty look. Animal cognition researcher Dr. Alexander Horowitz conducted a well-known study about the guilty look in dogs. Owners told their dogs not to eat a treat and then left the room. Some dogs ate the treat. Some dogs did not. But when the owners returned and scolded the dogs, many of the dogs showed the classic guilty look, whether they had actually eaten the treat or not. That is the uncomfortable part. The guilty look did not reliably show who had done something wrong. It showed which dogs were responding to the owner's angry behavior. In other words, dogs were reacting to the human in front of them, not necessarily to a memory of a past mistake. This is why so many good owners get trapped. You are not trying to hurt your dog. You are trying to teach him. But the face in front of you looks so much like human guilt that it feels impossible not to believe it. From your dog's point of view, the moment is much simpler. Your voice is loud. Your face is tense. Your body is moving toward him. The energy in the room has changed. So he tries to make himself smaller. He looks away. He lowers his head. He signals, I am not a threat. That is not a moral confession. It is an attempt to survive the moment peacefully. And now, you might be thinking, so what am I supposed to do? Just let my dog destroy the house? No, this is not about having no rules. It is about using rules your dog can actually understand. Because the biggest problem with after-the-fact punishment is timing. If the timing is wrong, the lesson is wrong. And this is where the 2-second window becomes important.
Before we get into the practical part, let me say this. If you have watched this far and you are thinking about your own dog, that little face, that tucked tail, that nervous look after being scolded, take a second to like this video and subscribe. Not because it helps me only, because this kind of information needs to reach more dog owners. There are still many people who believe daily scolding is training. They do not realize that they may be creating fear instead of understanding. A simple like helps this video reach someone who may need to hear it. 4. Why after-the-fact punishment fails. Dogs learn best when the consequence is connected closely to the behavior. If your dog chews a box at noon and you yell at him at 6 in the evening, the connection is not clear enough. You walk in and see the destroyed box. To you, the story is obvious, but to your dog, the chewing happened long ago. That moment is gone. What is happening now? You came home. You saw something. You became angry. So the lesson may become, my person coming home is scary. Not, chewing cardboard was wrong. That is why some dogs begin to hide before their owner even says anything. They hear the key in the door. They see the owner look at the floor. They sense the tension, and their body prepares for trouble. Then the owner says, see, he knows what he did. But often, he may only know that anger is coming. That
that is a very different thing. Home should not feel unpredictable to a dog. Your return should not feel like a threat. It should mean safety. But repeated after-the-fact punishment can quietly teach the opposite. The sound of keys becomes a warning. The opening door becomes pressure. Your footsteps become something to fear. And slowly, the dog may stop greeting you with joy and start preparing for trouble. That is not discipline. That is confusion. And confusion does not create a better dog. It creates an anxious one. So what do you do instead? You do not wait for the mistake and then explode. You start before the mistake happens. And that starts with one of the most underrated parts of living with a dog: environmental management.
5. Environmental management, the zero-cost physical boundary. Do not test your dog's self-control when the environment is full of temptation. Your shoes smell like you. Your trash smells interesting. A cardboard box is easy to shred. A loose cable looks chewable. A quiet house can make every object more interesting. If your dog is bored, anxious, young, under-exercised, or simply curious, those objects are not bad choices in the human sense. They are available opportunities. So before you leave home, do a 30-second scan from your dog's eye level. Not from your height, from his world. What can he reach? What smells like you? What is soft enough to chew? What can be pulled down? What becomes interesting when the house gets quiet? Then remove the problem before it becomes a problem. Put shoes in the closet. Secure the trash. Close bedroom and bathroom doors. Move cables out of reach. Keep food off low tables. Put important items away. If your dog is a serious chewer, give him a safe space. That might be a dog-proofed room. It might be a large playpen. It might be a crate, if he has been properly crate trained and feels comfortable there. The goal is not to trap him. The goal is to protect him from making mistakes he is not ready to handle. And inside that safe space, give him legal things to do. A chew toy, a food puzzle, a stuffed treat toy, something to lick, something to chew, something that helps him settle. Now you are not waiting for failure. You are building success into the environment. That is the kind of control dogs can understand. If you do catch your dog in the act, then timing is on your side. But even then, you do not need to explode.
Walk over calmly. Use a short interrupter like, in a steady voice. If you use a sound, keep it mild and brief. The goal is not to scare your dog into panic. The goal is simply to interrupt the behavior long enough to guide him toward the right option. Then redirect immediately. Give him a chew toy. When he takes the toy, praise that choice. That is the lesson. Interrupt, redirect, reward the better choice. That is how dogs learn. 6. Ending. The home your dog can trust. Is where many owners need to rethink what being firm means. Firm does not mean loud. Firm means consistent. Firm means predictable. Firm means your dog can understand what happens next. A steady owner does not need to frighten the dog to create rules. A steady owner makes the right behavior easier and the wrong behavior harder. That is real leadership, not dominance, not anger, not emotional explosions, just clarity. And when you start doing this, the relationship changes. Your dog stops watching your face like he is waiting for bad news. He stops shrinking every time you walk into a room. He stops treating your return as the beginning of a possible punishment. And slowly, the sound of your key in the door starts to mean what it was always supposed to mean. My person is home. I am safe. That is the kind of home a dog can relax in. Of course, this does not mean you should ignore serious behavior problems. If your dog is destroying things every day, there may be deeper causes. Boredom, separation anxiety, too little exercise, too little mental stimulation, poor management, lack of appropriate chewing outlets. In those cases, you may need a more structured plan, and sometimes help from a qualified professional. But for many homes, the first step is simple. Stop punishing the dog after the fact. Start changing the setup before you leave. Because the goal is not to create a dog who looks guilty. The goal is to raise a dog who feels safe enough to learn. So forgive yourself if you made this mistake before. Most of us have. We saw the lowered head and believed it was guilt. We thought we were teaching. We thought the dog understood. But once you understand what that body language may really mean, you can choose something better. You can stop turning fear into proof. You can stop using misunderstanding as discipline. And you can become the calm, predictable person your dog actually needs. If your dog's destructive behavior has already become a serious problem, I have prepared a home environment checklist for preventing destructive behavior. It covers 20 commonly overlooked areas in the house that many owners forget to check before leaving their dog alone. You can find the free download link in the description below. It is not a magic fix, but it gives you a practical place to start. Remove the temptation before the mistake happens. Make success easier. Make the rules clearer. And give your dog a home where the sound of your return does not mean fear. It means safety. I will see you in the next video.